The road talks, and I listen. Many folks wonder how I can travel alone for so many miles and have so many adventures with no one to talk to other than my travel buddies, Archie and Edith. Well, the truth may surprise you. You see, the road talks to me. Some people are happy collecting refrigerator magnets and postcards. Me, as a photographer and storyteller, I love collecting the messages found on the road. You know, cracking faded signs, loud graffiti, hand-painted warnings that look like they've survived 3 decades of the sun, storms, and really bad decisions. I believe everything has a story if you just pay attention. And if you're wondering what the road is really saying, sit back, buckle up, and let me share a little bit of the road life with you. Because out here, every abandoned location, every weathered sign, every spray painted and cracked message is a clue to someone's story. And they can be found in every bend of the road. Gramps here at the Echoes. I've been living on the road in an RV for about a decade now. Long enough to learn that the best stories won't show up on a postcard. Sometimes they show up on the side of a building in a font that over time is half missing and held together by peeling paint, rust, or stubbornness. And because I'm a photographer, this is the kind of stuff that screams, "Stop!" I see crooked motel sign hanging on for dear life, and my brain goes, that's not decay, that's history with texture. So today I'm taking you along for a little documentary-style ride. Not a boring slideshow, but a moving collage of signs, graffitis, and those little weird road messages that make you feel like the universe is texting you in all caps. Warnings and welcome. I start every road trip with a promise. Avoid the interstate highways, drive as many back roads as I can, and tell myself I'm just going for a drive. And sure enough, 10 minutes later, there I am, parked just off the side of the road on the shoulder because I saw a sign that basically screamed, "Look at me." The first category of the road message is very simple, the warning. Does it have a no trespassing, keep out, private property sign? I hear you, and I mostly respect the signs, but I have tested the boundaries getting my photos. I'm not here to get thrown in jail or to be a problem, but I am here to read the vibes, capturing as many videos and photos as possible so I can both remember and share my visit. A warning sign found near the front door tells a story. Something happened here, or something keeps happening here, and somebody got tired of explaining it. Sometimes the location is still filled with somebody's stuff, and that's the owner's way of saying, "This is my stuff, leave it be." I 100% stick to the explorer's oath, leaving nothing but footprints, taking nothing but pictures, killing nothing but time. And I also added one more of my own. Leave everything the way you found it. Gas stops are mini museums. Here's a funny thing. Often gas station and fuel stops have signage that is unique and worth filming. I'm on the lookout for things like warning labels and little handwritten notes. Maybe a sun-faded sticker that's been peeled and restuck 100 times. Gas stations are tiny roadside museums. There's signs that'll tell you, "You're welcome," what kind of day you're going to have, and even suggest how you open the door. And once you begin looking, you'll notice all kinds of signs that you've overlooked before. Thing is, they all tell a story. Open, closed, hours, ad posters, pay inside, no refunds. And the last one is basically the national anthem for the full-time RVer or any regular traveler. And it says, "Out of order." Welcome signs with personality. Then you've got the opposite, the welcome signs. Something I've noticed when entering most small cities or towns are the welcome to signs. Signs that greet you. Signs that feel like a handshake. Sometimes very friendly, sometimes a bit suspicious. What I mean is, signs like, "Welcome to town, we have one stoplight." And others that may say something like, "Welcome, we're watching you." But I love them because each one is a town introducing itself in 5 words and a logo. And when you live in an RV long enough, you start noticing the personality in the details. The font choice, the little mascots, and the paint that they've touched up several times and never quite matches. And when you roll through enough towns, you start to appreciate the honest marketing. Home of the best pies, antique ammo and ice. And some are pretty proud of the best bang in town. No corporate logos, just, "This is what we do, take it or leave it." The road's practical poetry. And then you have the signs that speak in practical poetry. Bridges may be icy. Sharp curves ahead. Gear crossing. Slow, children at play. It's basically the world saying, "Hey buddy, slow her down a bit. You can't see everything at 65 miles an hour." And that's kind of a rude thing to tell an RVer anyways, because 65 is already very optimistic. But that's the point of the whole series. I'm not chasing the fastest route. I'm chasing the messages hidden in plain sight. For me, it's about slow and easy, stopping to smell the roses every chance I get. Because it's all about the adventure. That's the real story. The constant motion stitched together by a moment that makes you hit the brakes and linger long enough to capture that moment in time that you may only get once in a lifetime. Graffiti as diaries. Now let's talk about graffiti, because this is where the road gets personal. Graffiti is a diary that didn't ask for anyone's approval or permission. It could be a love letter, a protest, a joke, or a deep philosophical message. Or sometimes it's even where you can find a good time. Often, you'll find all of this on one wall. And when I photograph it, I'm not just looking at the art, I'm looking at the layers. Because graffiti isn't just one message. It represents a conversation that may have been going on for years. Cadillac Ranch is a perfect example. Each car is said to be layered in 1.5 to 2 inches of spray painted messages. Some barely lasting long enough for the paint to dry before the next visitor arrives and leaves their message right over the top of another recently left message. The language of the tags. Tags are like signatures in a guest book. Some are saying, "I was here." Some are sharing whole identities. A style, a gang, a hometown, and some dates in history. And every once in a while you'll catch a date that hits you like, "Wait, 1995? Nah. Wow, that means this wall's been holding on to that moment longer than the internet's been around." It's proof the road doesn't delete posts. It just paints over them and keeps scrolling. If you think about it, it's much like the way our old memories get buried with new ones. Funny and wise. My favorite are the messages that make you laugh. They're the ones that are basically Twitter, but with spray paint. Funny ones are great. You'll get something like, "I regret nothing." And I'm standing there like, honestly? Of the ones that are the one-liners that scream stupid but true. But there's the ones that come out of nowhere with the unexpected wisdom. A line about hope. A line about survival. A line about being tired but still showing up. And then sadly you realize somebody needed to say that out loud. and the wall was the only place they would listen. Real art. I have many times turned a corner and was taken aback by what I saw. Not just a tag, rather straight up art. A mural so good that would make you stop talking mid-sentence. Color that looks still wet. A face that looks like it's looking back at you. Those are the moments that I hold a little bit longer. Because you need to kick back a minute and take the time to feel it, not just see it. And this, my friends, is where it becomes a documentary and not a slideshow of, look what I found. Keep it legal. Here's a quick note. Because I always want to make it clear, I'm here to document, not damage. I stay legal, I stay respectful, and I leave places exactly the way that I find them. Except now, I also leave with a memory card full of stories. Ghost businesses. This is the chapter that always gets me. Ghost businesses. Places where the sign are still trying, even though the business clocked out years ago. A faded open sign that hasn't been true in forever. A repair sign that the letters are missing, like it's slowly forgetting its own name. A motel neon sign that looks like it's been blinking the same sentence since the 1980s. We all know that type. Human fingerprints and old lettering. Old signage has a fingerprint. You can see where somebody's painted a straight line, but it's wobbly because it was done by a human. You can see brush strokes, hand spacing, the irregular letters, and the little quirks that no computer font would ever approve. And it's wild to think that somebody stood right there, maybe on a ladder with a bucket of paint, and believed their sign would matter. Well, they were right. The fact that you came across it, read it, made it matter. Just in a different way now. A safe, legal peek tells the whole story. Shooting photos of an old abandoned business that has been closed for decades and where time has taken her toll is one of my favorites. Without making entry, you could safely take a peek through a window without breaking any laws. And that peek can say 1,000 words. A chair tipped over, a dusty counter, a calendar frozen on the wall. The kind of quiet that feels like the building is holding its breath. And you don't have to step inside to tell that story. Just a long gaze through a broken window will send one's imagination into overdrive. Sometimes the best documentaries is to move with restraint. Let the viewer's imagination do all the exploring. Attraction punctuation. And then, just to keep the rhythm fun, I like to drop in what I call road punctuation. Those are the well-known attractions that pop up like exclamation points in the middle of nowhere. Maybe it's a famous roadside art stop. Maybe it's a legendary diner. Maybe it's a landmark everybody photographs because it's ridiculously perfect. These are the moments that remind you. The point of travel is not the destination. It's the detour you'll brag about later. Signs you can't forget. As I travel, sometimes during my adventures, I come across signs that truly grab me. The sign you keep thinking about for 3 towns later. For me, it was seeing the same sign across many states while I traveled old Route 66. I never really paid too much attention to it, just rerouted a bit and continued on my way. But somewhere in Oklahoma, traveling down old Route 66 for my 3rd time, I came across a sign I saw again and again. That's when it hit me. It hit me like the road reached through the windshield and tapped me on the shoulder. This Historic Route 66, dead end. Every time I traveled the Mother Road, there was less and less remaining of what made it such an icon, and once a traveler's vacation destination. Route 66, in its prime, represented the great American promise of freedom, mobility, that carried families, dreamers, road trippers west through the heart of the country. If you ever wanted to experience it, you better go now, as it's fading quicker than ever before. The older I get, the more I realize that signs aren't just direction. They're evidence. Evidence that someone built something, tried something, loved something, lost something, and left a message anyways. And standing there with my camera, I'm not just filming the rust and paint. I'm filming the fact that the world is still talking, even after the business is gone, even after the town gets quiet. And I let it live again for a minute. And you're right there to share those moments with me. I'm also thinking about the moment I decided to stop the RV, grab the camera, and chase light before it changed. In that rhythm of life, you don't just pass through. You pass long enough to notice them, and those pauses add up to a map that isn't made of highways, but rather made of memories. Your turn. All right, that's today's ride. Signs, graffitis, and wrote little weird messages. If you made it this far, you're officially one of my people. Now, I want to hear from you. What's the best road message you've ever seen? Was it a warning sign that made you laugh? A piece of graffiti that actually made you think? Or a business sign that made you feel like there's a ghost waving hello? Drop it in the comments and tell me what theme you want next. Abandoned interiors and exteriors? Water towers with attitude? Old motels and neon signs? If you want, I can turn this into a whole series. Road messages, where each episode has a theme and a payoff sign at the end. So if you got a suggestion, drop it below. I read all of them. I love those around what you're curious about. Hit the like and subscribe if you're into documentary-style road stories. And I'll see you in the next stretch of highway. Until then, keep your eyes up, because the road is always talking. I'll see ya when I see ya.
What's up, Gramps? Where you off to now? With the world in your